Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. I thought that one of the first videos I should do is tell you some things about myself so that you can get to know just who it is that you're watching and whose life it is that you're inviting to your living room. I've got some questions that I'll answer for you to hopefully help get to know you, to hopefully help you get to know me a little bit better. So. First, my name is the name of my channel. My name's Elizabeth Hoy Feltham. I'm 35 years old. Well, I'll be 35 in October. Sometimes I forget my age. Does that ever happen to you? Do you sometimes forget your age? Someone will ask you how old you are and you have to stop and think for a minute. The older I get, the more that becomes a thing. Anyway, I live here in southern France with my husband and our 22-month-old son. My husband's name is Andrew and our son's name is Henry. Oh, I'm answering way too many questions. I need to slow down. We live in France because my husband got a job posting here. He worked for the company originally in the United States, and they offered a position to him here in France for up to 5 years. I'm from the United States. I've got an American accent. I claim Nebraska as my home state. For anyone that doesn't know, Nebraska is located smack dab in the middle of the continental United States. If the United States was a dartboard, Nebraska would be the bullseye. So I'm from a small town in Nebraska. I moved to Houston when I met my husband. That's a long story I can tell you about some other time. But we lived in Houston, we got married, and then we moved to France. So I started this YouTube channel because I knew that we're gonna have some great experiences here in France. And someday we'd want to be able to look back on them and have memories. So the purpose of this channel is to capture our adventures here in France so that we have something to look back on in the past, or in the future. So my husband works, but I don't work here. I do have a work permit, I could work. However, I don't speak enough French to really be able to work in an office setting. So right now, my primary goal is to take care of our son and keep up the house. Before moving to France, I was an accountant. I used to work for a big consulting company in Houston, Texas, and I did work related to tax accounting, and I really enjoyed that work, but the position wasn't one that I was able to do from a distance. Oui, un peu. But as anyone who speaks French will tell you, I probably mispronounced 2 of those 3 words. So I speak enough French to get by in just everyday situations, going to the grocery store, going to a restaurant, speaking to Henry's Nunu, that's the woman who watches him several days a week. But I'm absolutely not fluent. Frequently people will talk to me in French and I'll go, huh? But I'm learning. I need to spend more time learning. Maybe as part of this channel, I'll be motivated to learn some more, but I don't speak French well enough, as I should. Oh, gosh, a bit about Andrew. Oof. Where to start and how to end. So my husband is basically the most awesome man on the entire planet. He's English. And we joke that the accent was a good 50% of the reason that I fell in love with him. So he's wonderful, he's caring, he's funny, he's intelligent, he's thoughtful, he's a fabulous father, and he's really supportive of me too. He's really supportive of me starting this channel, and that's really good. I needed that so that I knew that he didn't feel uncomfortable that I'm recording him at the breakfast table, or if we go to a city and I ask him, oh wait, can you walk down the street but slower this time? And he'll say, okay, sure. So my husband is just the best in the world. And my son is just the cutest in the world. As every parent assumes that their child is the cutest in the entire world. He's cute, of course, but he's also a toddler, and so he's a rascal. He's going through the terrible 2s already, even though he's not quite 2 years old yet. So every day has its ups and downs for sure. But he's just such a joy to have in our lives. It's so fun watching him grow and develop and learning to speak, things like that. I'm actually really tall. I am 5'10" when I stand up straight, but much to my mother's dismay, I slouch quite a bit. So walking down the street, I'm probably much closer to 5'9" than 5'10". I'm not sure if it's a random skill that everyone has, and maybe I'm just not aware, but I'm really good at picking things up with my feet, which has come in handy when you're carrying a toddler or a baby around and they drop their blanket or they drop their toy or they drop their stuffed animal. Sometimes it's just easier to pick it up with your foot than it is to put them down, pick it up, or try and bend over while you're holding them. So I guess using my feet is a random skill that I have. Okay, I have difficulty telling the right from my left. When I usually have to do the thing where you make an L with your left hand. Or if we're in the car and I'm giving my husband directions while we're driving, he'll say, okay, what do I need to do at this intersection? And I'll say, looking at the map, turn right. And he'll say, right? Are you sure? Right. No, I'm sorry, left. You want to go left. So yeah, it's kind of embarrassing. So my hobbies are, I love to cook. So I love looking for new recipes and trying new recipes. I really love all things culture. I love movies and books, and I spend way too much time on the internet looking at memes and things like that. I think that's gonna be cut down now as I get into my channel more, but yeah, I like absorbing all those cultural things. They're much more interesting than my life, I think, from day to day. My irrational fear is really strange. I'm not sure how it started, but I, to this day, have a completely irrational fear that there is a great white shark that lives in every single swimming pool. So when I was a kid, and I think even now I've not been in a pool for a while, but when I was a kid and I'd jump off the diving board or I'd jump over the side, I had to swim to the ladder as quickly as possible, and as soon as I touched the ladder, I was safe from the shark that was in the pool. But if I tread water too long or I went swimming across the pool or something, then the shark could get me. I have no idea how that started. I must have watched Jaws when I was 8 years old or something and was just terrified of sharks. But I will say also, for that same reason, I'm not a big fan of actually going in the water at the beach, because there are actual sharks in the ocean. That's not irrational. So I have 2 perfumes that I wear now that are my favorites. My first is my everyday scent, is the Jo Malone Peony and Barley scent, I think. I'll double check that. And then for date night, I like to wear Chanel Mademoiselle. It's got kind of that muskier, more intense, gorgeous, sexy woman scent that I love to wear on a date night with my husband and really feel like I'm a femme fatale or something like that, which is ridiculous. I'm so boring. I really love that walking down the street, I feel like I'm a part of history every single day. It's pretty rare for any street corner, any view, to not have a building that's older than the entire history of the United States. And that's a feeling that I'm not familiar with. When I was a kid, I was really interested in World War II and learning about World War II, the Holocaust and the battles and all those things. And so to be living in France now and knowing that so much of this was here during World War II, they didn't actually have a lot of action here in the city where I'm from, but obviously everyone here was affected by the war just as much as anyone else, even if there wasn't a battle on their lawn. So just knowing all of those connections to the history that I found fascinating my whole life, and I'm actually living in the middle of it, is really cool. So another reason for starting this channel was to really motivate me to go out and experience more of it. You know, there's only so much history I'm going to experience going back and forth to the supermarket every day. So this was a great motivation for me to actually go out and seek out museums, seek out monuments, seek out important sites in France and our area, and really be able to soak that up while I'm living here. So we'd regret it so much. I'd regret it so much if I didn't do that. And you know, in 10 years from now, we're back in the States and it's so much harder to get back here to France. The first thing that comes to mind that I dislike about living in France is the fact that our air conditioning is just not as common in the houses here. And it's the summer when I'm filming this, of course. But I'm gonna spend a lot of time complaining about the weather in a different video that you're gonna see. So instead, I'm gonna tell you that I really hate all the bugs in our house. Our house was built in 1756. Oh, do you hear the horse outside? We really live rural here. Anyway, our house was built in 1756, so it's quite an old house. And it was renovated in 2005, I think. And so a lot of it looks quite modern. There's plaster everywhere and things, but the floors are original. We have some beams in the ceiling that are original, and insects just love to live in those things. And so there are spiders in the house all the time. And my son just this week, he learned the word spider. Spider. And so now he loves to run around and say, "Biter, biter, biter." Yes, there's a spider, Henry, I know. But anyway, I hate the spiders and the bugs and the mosquitoes because, again, we don't have AC, so we have to keep the windows open when it's cool out, which just lets all the bugs in, including at night, of course, when it's cooler. And so there's just so many bugs, and I don't like the bugs. I don't like bugs. Okay, so that's all the questions that I had, that I wrote for myself. If there's something that I missed that you'd like to know, please write a comment and I'll make sure to respond and tell you. But also, please support my channel. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. It's the thumbs up button at the bottom, Mom and Grandma, hint, 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 hint. But also subscribe as well. There's a subscribe button right down there. You can just hit it. That also helps me too. So thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned for another video next week. Bye. To get myself. Bruh. This is why actors and actresses do like motion exercises, you know, to get loose, get out the nerves. Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. Again, hopefully. I have no idea how to start this.